U.S. Naval Base Sevastopol. I like the sound of that. And talk about a win-win-win-win-win all around situation. Because as we've seen and heard with our own eyes and ears, Russia must never have any say or control over grain shipments in the Black Sea ever again, after their upcoming defeat, of course. Not Russia, not China, not any authoritarian nation. The cost of food prices, from something as simple as competition for limited grain by pet food manufacturers, cat food, dog food, and human food manufacturers, is too steep a cost to humanity. Resource shipping lanes have to be safeguarded. And what better way to safeguard them than protected by the U.S. Navy's weapons, especially an aircraft carrier battle group? The shipping lanes would have an extra layer of protection with a whole lot less risk of disruption. A long-term lease for a naval base at Sevastopol would help with repaying Ukraine's debt to America for the weapons and assistance that wasn't gifted to them, not to mention the boost to their economy. And before anyone complains about America's MiG and all the bases we have around the world and blah, 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 keep in mind that the world is experiencing the need right now. And anyone that crowdsourced funds for weapons to help Ukraine has no business complaining about our MiG or the democratic world's MiG, because the MiG makes the weapons being crowdfunded. Russia and China have their own mix, and we are experiencing how they use and intend to use their mix. This business about taxpayer funds versus private funds for war just doesn't cut it. And all the but what about? Well, what about it? America has had to intervene so many times to authoritarian nations getting aggressive. Then we end up made to look like the bad guy for defending democracy around the world. This war of Russia's intended genocide of Ukraine should be a global game changer. Time for a new path to a democratic world. Spare me the bullshit about nations' rights, because no nation has the right to deny their citizens the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And a democracy is the natural enemy of authoritarianism, just like authoritarianism is the natural enemy of democracy. And history already shows what an authoritarian world is like. There's no going back. It's time to move forward to a democratic new world order. Difficult, but not impossible. Eventually, Ukraine could become a new global supplier of oil and gas with all the oil under it. That would definitely benefit from the protection of a U.S. naval base at Sevastopol. Would also be ideal while Ukraine rebuilds its navy to full capacity. Then the people of Ukraine could decide if they want to continue having our base there or not when the lease expires. Another benefit would be all the Russian monuments and the Russian mir erased from Sevastopol. And let's not forget that would also be a big screw you to Putin, Russia, Xi, and the rest of the communist bastards that rule China. No more appeasing dictators. An American naval base at Sevastopol would be ideal. But I'm down for a joint NATO naval base too.